morning, everyone. We welcome everyone to the fifth post-module webinar in the CyberSecure Nigeria series. And I hope you're as excited as I am this morning about this information. Please let's see your excitement in the chat. Let's know how you're doing today and how you're doing today. Let's know where you're joining from. I can see our excitement. How are you today? Where are you joining from? How excited are you about this session? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. My name is Jeremy, and I'm excited to be doing this today with a very familiar face, Mr. Bolaji.
Good morning, everybody. I'm also very excited to be here this morning, and I'm sure that you are also excited to be here. Anyway.
All right. So again, this is the fifth module titled the Secure Remote Work and Collaboration. And I'm very sure you enjoyed the module. It is very relatable. And before we go right into the session, we would have a quick interactive session. We would have a quick poll that you will fill. It's very simple. We want to get your answers. So are you ready? You would see the poll on your screen, and I want you to engage. All right. So the first question says, be honest, which one have you done during a virtual meeting? Be honest, which one have you done during a virtual meeting? Have you talked for 2 minutes while on mute? Have you joined from somewhere you probably shouldn't have? Have you pretended to be listening while doing something else? Have you eaten without turning off your microphone? Have you checked WhatsApp while someone was presenting? Be honest. Honest answers only. So we see checked WhatsApp is winning.
And have you nearly slept off or actually slept off?
Even like have you nearly slept off or actually slept off? All right. So I think we have a tie between pretended to be listening and checking WhatsApp while someone was presenting. All right, please keep it coming.
Yeah.
Let's have your reactions. Let's have your answers on the poll.
Yeah, as you're answering the polls, I would encourage you also to please reach out to your colleagues who are not here yet and who need to be here. Anybody on this program enrolled need to be here this morning. What we're going to be doing this morning is quite relatable and it's going to be very interesting. I can assure you that. So reach out to your colleagues, reach out to friends who need to be here and let them know that we are live.
Thank you very much. We have 65% of people participated. Please give your answers if you haven't answered. Okay, can we move to the next question?
This is important because virtual meetings is a very integral part of remote work. And this morning, I know that we are all aware of the topic we'll be dealing with this morning. It's relatable, every one of us, even if in your own institution or where you work currently or where you have worked before, remote work is not acceptable. There will be an element of remote work that you currently engage with or that you that you frequently engage with. Virtual meeting is one of them. I mean, the world is a single place now with virtual meetings. You can reach to anyone talk to anyone and accomplish anything just across the globe, just by being in your space and being connected. All right. And so this poll that we are answering right now is just so we can have a soft landing this morning. It's there's no wrong or right question. I know you know that, but it's just for us to break ice this morning. All right. So let's read the winning poll. Which one?
I see 47% had checked WhatsApp while someone was presenting. Rumor has it that someone is checking WhatsApp currently.
Yeah.
So, okay. Can we move to the next question?
All right. So, one very important thing that I want us to do this morning is it's very important that when we attend meetings like this, we arrive early so that we can settle in and so that we can put aside every distraction that might engage us in the course of the meeting, especially when it has to do with a training and something that we need to, glean knowledge from. And this morning, while the meeting was open before 10 o'clock, we had a number of people who joined. All right, the poll is over. Thank you. All right, so we had a number of people who joined the meeting early enough. Okay, I would call those people the early bird cyber champs, and I'd like to recognize them this morning. And I think it's a very important thing. All right. I see the numbers are still increasing. Please encourage your colleagues to join in and everyone that you know who needs to be here. So I'm going to read out the 5 people who joined first. Their names as it appears in the meeting. Okay. Some of them added their institution, and I'm going to mention those ones. So the first 5 people, the first person, importantly, that hit the join button and then we saw who joined the meeting was Oyebade, simply Oyebade on the meeting. Oyebade, can you please use an emoji, or probably unmute and say good morning? Then next, after Oyebade joined, we had Leo Ogunsoya from Nihot. Leo Ogunsoya from Nihot. Can you also probably just give us a wave? Let me see that. Has anybody done that already? Or probably in the chat room, just let me know that you are all right, that you are here. Oyebade Leo Ogunsoya from Nihot. Then I have Oyebade Adedoyeke. I think I see that. Thank you very much for arriving early. I have Leo Ogunsoya, then Dr. Lutayo. Dr. Lutayo, Leo Ogunsoya, I see you. Thank you for joining early. Thank you for joining early. That's a good one. It's quite encouraging. Dr. Lutayo. There was a Dr. Lutayo. Also, there was Adewale Showale. Okay, Adewale Showale, also from Nihot. Yeah, Dr. Lutayo, I see you. I see the thumbs up. Thank you for joining early. There's Adewale Showale. Do we have a friend from Nihot? And then lastly, Olubenga Adewinle. I hope I pronounced that well. Or Adewinle. Olubenga Adewinle. Or Adewinle. Apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrongly.
It's Adewinle. Thank you.
Adewinle. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Yeah, we celebrate you. Thank you for joining early, and everybody who joined early too. I just picked the first 5 people, but everybody who joined early, please celebrate yourself this morning. All right, you're welcome. I mentioned that today's session is going to be a very interesting one, and really it's going to be. And let me mention those who I mentioned their name. Will be in contact. We'll be in contact with you. I think it's something that needs to be encouraged. One other thing I also want to mention, and it's important how we engage. it's important how we keep being consistent in attendance, consistent in engagement on the platforms, consistent in engagement on the LMS platform too, on WhatsApp and what have you, and even on our LinkedIn post and all. And there are a number of people that we have noticed who have been consistent over the weeks and months that this has run. These people join early, these people engage, actively, that is, and then, they also engage here on the webinar, they engage on WhatsApp and all of our platforms. And we won't let that go unnoticed and unacknowledged. And then the first on my list, actually, I have 3 people here with no, without any, strings. I want to first recognize Engineer Idris Abubakar. Engineer Idris Abubakar. If you can unmute. Engineer Idris Abubakar has been very consistent.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Engineer Idris.
How's the family, sir?
This morning. Very well,
yeah,
thank you.
Good morning,
thank you
sir.
very much. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your consistency.
Happy to see all the coordinating team.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Well done, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes,
also, I have Mr. Paul Pupola. It's Mr. Paul Pupola. It's Mr. Paul Pupola who has been consistent over the weeks and months. If you are here, just wave us or put a mute too. You're here, Mr. Paul. And then, last but not the least, I don't have this person's name, but the display name on WhatsApp is Healthcare Data Management. Yeah, and then from FUNAB, whoever that person is, just unmute. You would know yourself. It's Healthcare Data Management on WhatsApp platform. Yeah, you could use a raise of hand or, unmute. Let's know your name if you're in this meeting already. All right. I think we can move on. Yeah, we can move on. But really, we appreciate everyone, those who have recognized now and those whom we have not recognized even, yet. We as a team appreciate you and want to, say kudos for the consistency so far and for the effort that you have put into this program from the onset. All right. So let's move into the crux of today's matter. Let's get into today's session. Really, I know that you know that this morning our facilitator, who also doubles as the project coordinator for the CyberSecure Nigeria initiative, is Mr. Pardon me, Dr. Yinka Fakunle. This morning, the topic or the title we'll be treating and engaging on is the secure remote work and collaboration. If you have completed module 5 on the LMS platform, can you just recognize by sending an emoji here? Just acknowledge that if you have completed the module 5. Indicates, all right, I see a number of hands. Thank you so much. I know today's facilitator needs little or no introduction. We're familiar with him already, each and every one of us from the onset of this program. Beyond being an accomplished cybersecurity professional, is the driving force behind the CyberSecure Nigeria initiative that has brought all of us together, and we are here today. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Yinka Fakunle, the head of IT Operations and Information Security at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, and also the project coordinator for the CyberSecure Nigeria program. He has over 20 years of experience leading enterprise IT operations and information security infrastructure, modernization, business continuity, digital transformation initiatives throughout his career. He has helped organizations build secure, resilient, and efficient technology environments that support their strategic goals. Today, we'll be sharing practical strategies for securing remote work environments, protecting collaboration platforms, strengthening access control, and building a secure and resilient culture when it comes to cybersecurity. All right. The topic that we have this morning is of increasing importance every day in everyday workplace as we have it today. Please join me in giving a warm cyber champ welcome to our facilitator today, Dr. Yinka Fakunle. Dr. Yinka, thank you so much for the vision and leadership, and then the continued investment in building cyber secure capacity across Nigerian institutions. Thank you so much. We're excited to have you this morning. Over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Tolu. And sorry, I think I jumped the gun too early. I wasn't expecting all those introductions, so I was ready to launch. That was why I quickly shared my screen. Apologies for that. I didn't know that. I'd totally forgotten that I was a guest speaker, so I didn't know that it was going to come with all those all those good stuff. All right, thank you very much. So,
Thank you, sir.
good morning to everyone. And I think it's nice again to be back for our live webinars. It's I'm seeing a lot of faces that I'm beginning to know better now. We've started this journey over a couple of weeks, now even months, and it's been so nice and it's been so encouraging having everybody around. So let me start this morning this way. All right, so I'm just going to start with a little analogy. Somewhere in Nigeria at the moment, right now as we speak, I mean, as we sit in this live webinar room, there is an email that is landing in an institutional inbox. It looks very ordinary. It probably might have a logo. It has a name someone recognizes, and it might even have a link. And in the next 90 seconds, one of two things would actually happen to that email that I'm describing. Either somebody clicks it, and then you have a research institute lose years of data before lunchtime, or someone stops, hesitates, look twice, and then delete it. Now, the difference between these two outcomes is not a firewall. It's not even a budget line. And it's neither is it an IT department. The difference is training, awareness, knowledge. And that colleague is what the next three slides that I've started with the first one that I'm going to share with us is what it's all about. It's not numbers, not the dashboard. It is those quiet, invisible differences between the institution that gets breached and the one that does not. All right. So let's talk about where we stand at the moment. 591 learners. 581 learners. 581 people across Nigeria who some weeks ago may not have been able to pinpoint or give a name for the thing that was putting or could probably put their institution at risk. And today, I want to believe they do. The average progress we have so far sits at 41%. 449 of them are actively moving through the material as we speak. Now, I want us to sit with that first number for a moment. 449. Because 449 active learners is not a statistic. That is 449 people who opened a module after work, or maybe in between meetings, or maybe on their phones, on their mobile phone while in the traffic. And why are they doing that? Because they saw the importance of training and why these really matter. The momentum is real, and the momentum is here. And I want us to get that straight. But I think that I would be doing you a disservice if I stopped there. I mean, just mentioning the good side, because the dashboard is also telling us another story. There are actually two stories at once. And the second one is the one that is not too good. 132 learners have not started. Not that they slow down, not that they've fallen behind. They have not even begun. And then we have 286 that are flagged as risk. Now, let me translate that for you because a number on the slide can be a very comfortable place to hide. 286 at risk means nearly half of everyone that we enrolled is currently on a path that ends with them possibly not finishing. Okay? And a person who does not finish this training is not neutral. They are not where they started. That's just the bottom line. And it actually becomes worse, if I can use that word, because they now believe they have been better informed and trained. And I want to believe you would all agree with me that a half-trained workforce is a confident workforce. But then, confidence without competence is precisely the doorways that the bad guys, the attackers, that they walk through him. And here is the number I want to burn into this live webinar this morning. 0 learners have completed. I mean, as you can see, 0, not 1. Now, before anyone start asking me, how is that even possible? You're getting us confused. Understand what this actually means. Completion is measured and gated on module 5 that we are currently on. And module 5 has not yet done its work. So 0 is not failure. 0 is just like a coiled spring or a cocked gun that is ready to fire at any time. Every one of those 449 learners are sitting at the edge of the finishing line and they're waiting for the last push, which raises the only question that matters today. In few weeks' time, will that 0 completed, will it still be at 0? I wanted to hold that thought. I'm going to come back to that. So let me move to the second slide. We have a total of 22 institutions, 1 leaderboard. At the top, the Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute with a score of 62.5 and an average progress of 85%. That's 85%, okay? Against a national overall average that we saw on slide 1 of 41%. The second is the University of Ilorin at 53.5. The third is our own CyberSecure project team, because we are also involved in this as well. And that's at 51%. And in the top 8, our host, the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, is sitting at 49 with 58% average progress. Now, here is where this gets interesting. And I want you to ask yourself, what is the institution at the top of this board? I mean, what do they have that the institution at the bottom doesn't have? Trust me, it is not a better internet. It's not a bigger budget. It's not younger staff. And I don't even think it's newer laptops, or maybe they have some real technical genius sitting at their back office. No, I don't think so. And I'll tell you exactly what it is. Because data is unambiguous. Somebody there just decided this matter. One person might be the director, the registrar, a head of units. Just put on an agenda, set a reminder, ask in meeting, have you done your module? And make it socially awkward for anyone to want to say no. And I can authoritatively tell you that there are a lot of people, like on this call right now, and that I even know together in this family that we are together that have reached out to me among us who have been doing exactly what I just described now. And I want to give a big kudos to them because those are the real cyber champions. They do this push from time to time. They reach out to me, asking me to even, if possible, to send them the dashboard of their institution. And I know that they've actually been using that to push. And I want to say a big kudos to them for that. Now, this is the entire secret for the first on the institution leaderboard. 85% versus the national overall average of 41%. And the variable is just the institutional will, which means, and I want to be very direct here, the gap on this leaderboard is not a technology gap. I think it's probably a leadership gap. And every one of us in this room sits on one side of it or the other. So the leaderboard is not a scoreboard. I don't want us to see it as a scoreboard. I want us to see it as a mirror. And it's also quietly a solution at the same time because everything the top institution did is repeatable. It costs nothing. It requires no procurement. The playbook already exists and is inside the program. It's simply unevenly distributed. So our task is not to invent success. I would say that it is to copy it and then repeat it. All right? So what have those 449 people actually been doing over the last couple of weeks? Module 1 was on cybersecurity hygiene, where we talked about security habits, safer digital lives. The foundational shift, cybersecurity is not the IT department's job, it's everybody's job. And then we move to Module 2, data stewardship, understanding and classifying and safeguarding institutional data. Learning that not all data is equal. And also that the most dangerous data is the kind nobody was sensitive or was even paying attention to. And then to Module 3, incident response and reporting. That's where we talk about detecting, reporting, responding, learning the hardest lesson in this field, which is the bridge is not actually the disaster. It is the silence after the bridge that is actually the disaster. Then we also move to Module 4, institutional cybersecurity practice, where we talked about access control, identity management, policy, governance, frameworks, and monitoring. Those scaffolding that actually holds an institution up when an individual makes a mistake. I want us to look at that progression. Do you notice anything? Do you see what this is all about? Module 1, protect the person. Okay. Module 2, protect the data. Module 3, protect the response. And then Module 4, protect the institution. So I want you to know that we've actually been building a wall, one layer at a time. And we all know that a wall built in right order does not necessarily need to be very tall for it to be very effective. But I want us to remember something. Every wall has a gate, isn't it? Every wall has a gate. And the gate is where one of us now walks, which is the remote. Those cloud tools, those shared files, those video meetings, personal devices on home network, identity credential floating around a dozen of platforms that nobody in this room formally approved. That is what we are discussing this morning. That is Module 5. Secure remote work and collaboration. So it takes the 4 modules that we've done of the principles and turn them into a practice at the exact point of the highest exposure that you can ever think of. Module 1 to 4 makes us aware. And now the Module 5 that we're going to talking about this morning makes us safe. And we'll be moving into that in a bit. But first, Let me return to the first question I asked before. Will that zero still be zero? That's not a question for the platform. I mean, not for the dashboard, obviously. Not even for NetHope, our sponsor, and not for IIT. It is a question for the 22 people that is going to come out from the 22 institutions that we just saw now, who will decide this week whether to send the reminder to their colleagues, to their folks at work. And here's what I'm asking from us. Just three things. One, to every institution on the low start hand of that leaderboard, please go find your 132. They have names. They are known. I mean, a single message from a supervisor converts a non-started into an in progress. And that's the cheapest security investment your institution can ever make. All right? Secondly, I want to say this to our top performers. The Stud Product Research Institute, the University of Ilorin. I mean, you owe us your method, not just us congratulating you. I mean your method. Tell us what you did. So that the remaining 20 of us, other institutions, can repeat and possibly do the same too. And my third point is to every one of us. I want us to treat Module 5 as the deadline that it is. 2 weeks, 286 people to pull back from the hedge. Those 286 are at the risk level. And 581 certificates will just be waiting to exit very soon. All right? Because that email I mentioned at the start, I mean, the scenario I described earlier on, it is still coming. It is not coming for every institution. I mean, it's not just like it's coming for maybe one. It is coming for every institution represented in this room. Not if, but the question is when. And the only question this program has ever really asked is a very simple one. When that suspicious or not illegit email arrives, who will be trained enough and who will be clicking it? Okay, so let's make that in the 2 weeks and we can get the answer. We can move up this number. Okay, I want to say thank you to everyone so far. We've all been doing a very fantastic job. And having said that, let's move into today's webinar properly. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a bit and then I will start sharing again with, yes, okay. All right. We will be looking at Module 5 this morning. And just like we said, secure remote work and collaboration, protecting institutional data beyond campus. Let me once again start with another little analogy. All right. 11 years. 11 years of maybe field data, soil sample from, say, maybe 6 states in Nigeria. Yield records from, let's just say, 640 smallholder farms, 3 PhD students, entire thesis work, sitting inside it, sitting inside that field data, all gone. In the time, I mean, just like that, something that took over years, efforts, different collaborators to come together, just within a twinkle of an eye, to just get off like that. I'm trying to create a story. Let's say the man is a senior researcher. Brilliant. I mean, phenomenal, with 22 years in the sector. And on one Tuesday morning, in a particular month in the morning. He opened his laptop, typed his password like any other person, and the screen says, your files have been encrypted. Now, here's the part that should keep every one of us up at night. He didn't do anything unusual. He did not visit a dangerous website. He didn't click any link. He didn't download anything strange. He did 6 perfectly normal, perfectly reasonable, perfectly any human being will do, just in 11 days. And I want you to follow the story with me. 6 things that most of us on this call possibly did last week. All right? And I want you to follow me through. So, over the next 50, 60 minutes thereabouts, we're going to reconstruct all 6 of the mistakes from the man's story that I started with, one at a time. And I'm going to ask you honestly to tell me which ones you're currently making. Before we start, let's just, let me do some quick basic housekeeping before we start. Know that the chat room is open and I want you to use it as loud as possible. Bring on your reaction. Use them as well. Your thumbs up, all those emojis. They are going to be, as we progress, there are going to be 5 scenario quizzes today with live polls. And yes, I'm going to keep the score. Yes, there is something we used to do in those days. We're going to do it. There are going to be bragging rights at the end of today's webinar. All right. So, first job in the chat that I want you to do for me right now, if you haven't done that before, just put your name, your institution, and the exact place you are sitting as you join this webinar. That's very important. The exact place you're sitting. Just put it in the chat. Your name, your institution, and that exact place you're sitting as you join us in this webinar. Maybe it's your office, your bedroom, your car park, or maybe someone might even, someone among us might even gonna say that I'm in the traffic right now. I need those coming in. All right. There is something I want to bring out from that. At home, in the office, my office, at office, let's keep a colleague's office, so not even in your own office, okay? At home, okay? Please, I want us to say in my office, at home, in my bedroom. Now, let's look at that spread in the chat. Office, my room. I was thinking someone was even going to say my kitchen, or someone at car wash. Exactly, at car wash, on the road. That right there, that is today's entire topic. Your institution data is currently sitting in all of those rooms, no longer in the office. So let's talk about what this means, all right? Which is what we want to do this morning. 4 promises. That is what the next 50, 60 minutes is all about. 1, recognize the risk. By the end of this session, you will be able to walk into your own home, look at your own setup, and spot at least 3 things that are wrong with it. And I mean that literally. That is one of today's exercise. 3 things that you think are wrong with the setup in your home. 2, secure your network. Whether you are on a fiber at home, or maybe you're using your phone's hotspot, or even maybe you are even at an hotel in, let's say, northern Nigeria, Kano, to be able to secure your network. 3, use institutional tool safely. The research database, your official email, the LMS, the things that you touch every single day and have stopped thinking about, but you use them every single day. And then the 4th is respond to threats. because the goal is not that the goal is never to get targeted. You will be targeted, no doubt. The goal is when it happens, you know exactly what to do in the first 60 seconds. All right. Now, like I said, I want this to be as interactive as possible. So, quick one, I want to give me a thumbs up if in the last month you have accessed a work system, your email, official database, LMS, anything from outside your office. Just give me a thumbs up. If you have accessed anything from outside your office, give me a thumbs up. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that is basically everyone. All right. So, this isn't a session about them. There is no them today. It is us. This room is full of us. And I want us to pay attention as we move along the slide. Now, why cybersecurity matters more than ever? Here is what's changed, and I want to be precise about it. When you sit in your office on campus, you are always wrapped in a protection you never see. There is an institutional firewall. It's a monitored corporate network. Your system is a patched machine. There is IT team that would notice if anything goes wrong or hard. So you're inside a fortress and you never for once had to think about the walls. But the moment you take that laptop home, the walls are all gone. Every single one of them gone. And nothing about the work feels different. It is the same email. It is the same login, even though your location has changed. It is the same LMS, which is exactly the problem. The risk went up enormously, and your feeling of risk didn't even change at all. Now, the real world impact, institution across the world, since the emergence of post-COVID, the UK, Australia, South Africa, the US have lost entire research program to ransomware. Student records dumped online, grants data held hostage. And the entry point again and again is not some Hollywood hackers. It is someone working from home who either click on something that is wrong or who did not follow the right basic procedure. And let me be very direct about Nigeria, which is our context. We are not a low-value target. Nigerian Research Institution holds a lot of agricultural data, a lot of genomic data, fundal data. And what about even the personnel record of tens of thousands of students, if not even millions? That is extremely valuable. And the attackers know exactly where it lives. Okay? I want us to have that. As you follow me, I wanted to do something again for me. I need one word in the chat as a response to this question. What is the most sensitive thing you personally have access to at work? Is it student record? Is it financial data? Is it research? Just one word. What is that thing? What is that most sensitive thing that you personally have access to at work and that you need to access it from anywhere? Just put it in the chat. Let me see it coming. Mail server backend, financial data, stakeholder data, research, health record. Good. Every word you just type, that is what we are going to be defining today. Okay? So, understanding remote work risk. The section 1 is going to talk about that. And we start with a phrase that I want you to steal from me and use in your next department meeting. Your attack surface. Attack surface. Attack surface is just, it's just this. It's the total number of doors into your world. That's your attack surface. On campus, when you are within your office, the corporate network, you had a few doors, all right? And there is a security man on each of those doors because you have all those things being protected when you're in the office on the corporate network. But at home, you have doors that you don't even know are doors. That is the danger. Now, 3 of them are on this slide. Personal devices, unmanaged, unpatched, and this is the big one, is even shared. You're not the only one using it. And nobody at IT knows that the machine even exists. Second one, home and public networks. Your router. Do you know what your router admin password is? Genuinely. I'm going to come back to that in maybe in like 10 minutes. And I know it's going to be uncomfortable. Some of the things that we'll discuss there. The third one is institutional system. The LMS, the email, the research database are being accessed from all of us. I mean, all of the above with none of the control. All right. So back to the question, back to the research story that I started from. Let's call this researcher Dr. Tunde. Day 1 of 11, and apologies if there is anybody Tunde in the call. That name just came to my mind. So let's start with day 1 of the 11 days I said I'm going to describe. It's a Saturday. He's marking on his institutional laptop. Because he had to come home he has to carry his laptop home on Saturday. All right. And he needs to mark these exams that was done and all that. And he doesn't want to bring his institutional laptop. He left it in the office because it's a Saturday. He wants to continue. So he uses the family laptop, the one in the sitting room, let's say, for example. And it's the same one that his daughter used also for a jam preparation. He logs into the LMS. It ticks remember me because, he plans to work all day. So he doesn't want to keep entering that every now and then. Completely, everything is done so far looks normal. All right. Now, let's move to common cyber threats in remote work. I want us to keep that story at the back of our mind. 4 threats exist. And I'm going to give you each one in a single sentence and one real behavior. Phishing. An email that looks like it is from IT or HR or the VC office and is designed to make you type your password into a page that is not your page. The behavior, you clicked a login link inside an email instead of typing the address yourself. Okay? The second one is data leakage. What is the behavior? You emailed a document to your personal Gmail so you could work on it at home. Let's be honest here. I'm sure a lot of us have done the same in this virtual room this morning. The third one, shadow IT. Any app that you're using for work that IT never approve of. I'm sure we are familiar with them. We know a lot of them. Those free PDF converters, we know it. Those random file transfer sites that we use once in a while. And of course, the WhatsApp group where the results spreadsheet even lives, where you quickly share it on WhatsApp. Now, the fourth one is shared device access. Your household is using the machine that your work session is open on, like I described in the case of Dr. Tunde now. Let's do some quick anonymous confession. And nobody is marking anybody. Nobody is going to report anybody. This is a safe room. In the chat, just type the number of the ones that you've done in the last 3 months. Just any of these 4 that you've done in the last 3 months. Just the number. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Multiple numbers is also allowed. Is it shadow IT, all those funny apps that will quickly install and to convert PDF and all those kind of things? Or is it data leakage where you quickly send an email to your Gmail so that you can work on it from at home? You understand all those kind of things? Just let me see what we have in the chat. 1, 3, 3 and 4. Oh, beautiful. 3, 4. Stop there. Okay. Let it go. Let it keep coming. 2, 3 and 4. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Fine. Look at that. 2 and 3s. I see a lot of 2 and 3s everywhere. Good. I mean, and that is, if you ask me, that is honesty. And honesty is where security actually starts. Nobody on this call is the problem. But the problem is that nobody ever told us these were actually risk. And all that is going to end today. All right, moving on. Secure use of devices. Bring your own device and share devices. BYOD across Nigerian institution. I mean, this is not a policy. It's just reality. Budgets are what they are. There's nothing anybody can do about it. And people have to use their laptop and their own phones for work. It's just the obvious. I'm not here to pretend as if it doesn't exist. No, I'm not going to shy away from that. But let's just be clear-eyed about what it costs. One of the risks of bringing your own device is that IT cannot patch what it cannot see. If your personal laptop has not updated in the past 8 months, nobody knows. There is no encryption enforcement, no software control, nothing. All right? Share devices. And here is the sentence I want you to carry out of this session. A browser with a saved password shared with a child is a set of institutional key that is left in public place. Now, your daughter or your son or your child is not the threat. Your 11-year-old son or 11-year-old daughter is not the threat. I mean, she wants to watch YouTube. We know these things. Your child wants to watch YouTube. The threat is the thing she accidentally installed while trying to do this. And with your LMS session sitting logged in one of the tabs or in one of the browser. So, work versus personal separation. And this is the fix. It is free. Separate browser profiles. Even on your browsers, you can have profiles. Or at most, better, separate user accounts on that machine that you have at home. It won't take you more than 10 minutes to set it up once, and that is it forever. Have different user profiles. One that you use to be able to continue your work from the office, and the one that is dedicated to your family. All right? I want to get some reaction again. Give me thumbs up if you are already practicing that. If you have a separate browser profile, that means you have different profile for your browser on your laptop or your desktop or your machine at home that is separated from work and the people at home. Or you have a user account. You have something you call work home accounts that you use to log in alone, and you have home user accounts that people at home use. Just give me a thumbs up if you do that. All right. And if you're not currently doing it, remember I told you it's a safe hand. Just do a raise hand. Let's use raise hand for that. If you have not started doing that. That's where security starts from. Being honest. All right. Okay. All right. And that's the ratio I expected. So here is your first homework. And it is the easiest win of the whole session this morning. This evening, create one browser profile, call it work. And that is it. That is what you'll be using. And the other browser profile, separate it. Or at most, create a user account, call it work. For you, only you can log in into it. Create an home account, call it home. Only you can log in into it. That is it. All right, okay. Moving on. Device security best practices. 4 steps. And these are the foundations. If you do nothing else from today, do these 4 things. Number 1, keep updated. Install operating system and apps updates promptly. Always install those updates. I know. I know. I can see somebody's already saying it in his mind. That restart to update box that always it comes up at the worst possible moment when I'm the most busy. And a lot of times we just click remember me tomorrow. I know. And we can do that for weeks. Now, here's the refrain. That update is almost always closing a hole that an attacker are already using. So each time you click on remind me tomorrow, invariably what you're saying is leave the hole open for one more day and let the attacker continue to attempt to exploit it. Number 2, approved devices. Preferred institution sanctioned devices wherever you possibly can. Because most of the time, institutional sanction devices are patched, they are monitored wherever they are, and they are also recoverable if they have MDM on them. Okay? Number 3, very important, screen lock and encryption. And here is a free skill right now. It doesn't cost anything. Everybody, look at your keyboard. If you're on the Windows, it is just Windows key plus L. You may not want to press it right now because it's going to lock your screen. That's if you're on Windows. For the MacBook users, it is the Control key plus Command key and Q. You can try it if you want to right now, if you want, but just know that it's going to lock you and you will need to relog it again into your machine. Okay? If you want to try that, you can, whoever just logged themselves out, had to find their password and then log in again, because that is the whole point. When you're standing up or when you're leaving your machine, create an habit of always locking your screen so that nobody else can get access to your screen except you, and the machine is going to require your password. That is the whole essence. Just 2 keys, 2 seconds. And that is the single fastest security control in existence. It costs nothing. Use it every time you stand up. And I mean every single time. Whenever you're stepping out of your office, you want to go to the gym, to the ladies, cultivate that habit of using it. And the 4th one, avoid local storage. Don't be the person whose only copy of grant reports lives on a laptop desktop. Use approved cloud storage or encrypted storage, because the laptop can be stolen at any point in time in Nigerian traffic within 4 seconds, and we all know that. And if that laptop is where you have the only data, then the data is as good as gone. All right. Now to our first scenario. First quiz. Scoreboard opens now. Busayo, you can help me with this at this point. All right. So, and this is the scenario question. A lecturer uses a laptop shared with family members and logs into the university LMS over home Wi-Fi. 2 weeks later, IT flag unusual login activity on the account. Logins at 3 a.m. Logins from a location she's never been. Now, here's the question. What went wrong? 1, share device risk, which is family members have access to the work session and saved credential. 2, lack of device control, no screen lock, encryption or separate user profile in use. 3, compromised credentials. Unsecure home Wi-Fi may have allowed the interception of login data. Or 4, all of the above. I'm sure the poll is live. 30 seconds. And I don't think you should overthink this. But do think, because one of these options is doing something sneaky. 15 seconds and we'll be closing the vote. More response, more response, more response, more response. You'll notice that she didn't do anything dramatic. No dodgy download. She didn't download anything. I mean, the scenario question. No suspicious websites. She marked some scripts on Saturday, like I've been saying. I mean, marked some script on Saturday. She didn't download anything. She didn't remember the story that I'm trying to create. She didn't download anything. She didn't do more response, more response. We have only 42%, 43%. I want to get more response before we close it. More response, 44%, more response, more response. Okay, so because of time, I think we have almost half response now. All right. The answer is 4. All of the above. And here is why this matter more than the points on the scoreboard. I'm glad that 85% of people went for all of the above. Every one of those 3 was true at the same time. And that is what a real bridge looks like. Not one dramatic failure. 3 very small, boring, forgivable ones stacked on top of each other. The first one says share device risk. Family had access to the session and to the safe credential. 2, no device control, no screen lock, no encryption, no separate profile. 3, compromised credentials. Unsecured home Wi-Fi meant the login itself could be intercepted. Security failures are almost never one big mistake. There are 3 small ones holding hands together. I want us to keep that in the back of our mind. All right? Again, in the chat room, if you can quickly respond, which of these 3 is currently true in your house at the moment? Is it 1, is it 2, or is it 3? Just respond. Which of it is currently the case at your home right now? All right, so all of the above was the answer, like I said. Moving on, section 2 now. Network and yeah, thank you, Busaya. You can hand the poll now. Section 2 now, networks. And I need to break something for you here, okay? A Wi-Fi password does not mean a Wi-Fi network is safe. I'll repeat it. That a Wi-Fi has a password does not necessarily mean that the Wi-Fi network is safe. You might want to repeat that yourself too. So you are at an hotel, the hotel gave you a password. The cafe gave you a password, or the conference gave you a password on a card. You went for a conference and you concluded, oh, this is secure. It is not. That password controls who gets in. All right? It does nothing at all about who is already inside. And that person might even be sitting 3 tables away watching you. So 3 attacks here, quick and straightforward. Rogue hotspot. I sit in the lobby. I create a network. I called it Hotel Guest Wi-Fi Free. You connect to mine instead of the hotel's own. You never notice because the internet works perfectly. It works perfectly because, of course, it's going through me. That's rogue hotspot. The man in the middle. I sit quietly between your device and the internet, and I read anything that is not encrypted. Anything that is not encrypted. The third one, session hijacking. I don't even need your password. I steal the session token that says that this person is already logged in. I'm sure we are all familiar with that thing on browser. This person is already logged in. And now I'm you inside your LMS with no password required. Remember the story we started with about Dr. Tunde, the researcher, the senior researcher. It is now day 4. Dr. Tunde is now in Abuja for a stakeholder workshop. He's in an hotel and connected to the hotel Wi-Fi. He uploaded his data sheet to the shared drive from the hotel lobby because the room signal was poor. So he had to move to the hotel lobby. Let's say there were 41 devices on that network that evening that he knew nothing about. All right? Door 2 opened. Remember, I said I was going to mention each of those doors. Door 2 now open. Okay. Moving on to the next slide. Remember, I'm building a story, so I wanted to follow me. What do you, network security best practices? So what do you actually do for you to have best practices in terms of network security? Two things and only two things, just two things. It's not far-fetched. One, VPN always. What's a VPN? A virtual private network, because it wraps everything you send in encryption. Picture it this way, an armored tunnel running from your laptop straight into your institutional network. So that man in the lobby that we described earlier on will see that a tunnel exists and there are traffic going through it, but he cannot see the inside. That is the entire game. He will still see your traffic, but he cannot see what you are doing. The rule is simple. If you did not personally set up the network, connect to the VPN before you touch any institutional resources. I will repeat. The rule is simple. When you are not the owner of the network, when you're not the one that personally set up the network, and is not your corporate organizational network, always make sure that you connect to a VPN first before you touch as soon as you connect to that internet, put on your VPN before you start accessing your institutional resources like your LMS, your research system, your internal email. Before, not after. That is very, very important. And the second thing, if you are the owner of the network, you created it yourself, fix your router today. If it is an home network, all right? Fix it today. And I'm going to ask this question. Have you ever changed the admin password on your home router? I'm not talking about the Wi-Fi password now. That admin password that goes inside the setup of your router, the one you are using to log into the router itself. I know a lot of us are still leaving it with the default. And it's one of the most exploited weakness in remote work anywhere in the world. Because most home router in this country, Nigeria, and in a lot of developed countries are sitting on the admin password for the router still left in it. Admin, username admin, password admin, or username admin, password is password. And that thing is always printed as a sticker at the back of the router. It is the same. Three things that I want you to do tonight. It's not going to take more than 20 minutes. 1, change the admin password. 2, make sure that your Wi-Fi that you set up on that router is on WPA2 or WPA3, not WEP. Make sure it is on WPA2 or WPA3 and not on WEP. And the third one, turn off any remote management, if any is on. And that is it. That is your router hardened. 20 minutes once, and you've closed the door that in the scenario that we are describing, Dr. Tunde left open. Moving on, section 3, cloud and collaboration security. And this is where most of you actually live all day. 4 tools. Look at them and think about how many times you touch each one yesterday. Email, your primary channel. And that is therefore the primary target. Nearly every serious institutional breach starts in an inbox. The second one, file sharing, research data, student records, and financial documents. They are moving across platform all day. I mean, many a times with no one even tracking them, wherever the copies are landing. Nobody is tracking it. The LMS as well, student data, assessment record, and course content. And here is what people always forget. An LMS is not just a teaching tool. It is a database of thousands of young people's personal information. You are a data custodian, whether you sign up for that or not. All right? And the fourth one, video calls, meetings that can be joined, recorded, or captured without anyone consenting. I mean, every one of these was designed to make things easy to share. That's the product. Easy to work, easy to share. But security is the setting you have to go and turn on yourself. And a lot of time, nobody does that. So the next slide, cloud security best practices. 4 controls that I want us to have in mind. If your institution only ever adopted one thing from this entire program, it should be the first. Enable MFA, multi-factor authentication. I know that has been coming up in all the modules. That's to tell you how important it is. Something you know, your password, and something you have, which is your phone. An attacker in another country can steal your password, but it cannot steal the phone from your pocket or from your wallet. So MFA stopped the overwhelming majority of account takeover did. And it cost us nothing. Okay? Again, I wanted to quickly react. Give me a thumbs up if MFA is currently switched on for your institutional email right now. And be honest, just give me a thumbs up. Just react. Give me a thumbs up if you have MFA currently switched on. Good. Okay. So those of you with the thumbs up, you are meaningfully safer than the rest of us on this call that is yet to do that. I mean, those of us without, that is our homework tonight. And it's going to take 2, 3, 4 minutes max. Now, the second one is strong password. Long bit complicated. Having a password, I mean, we've talked about this many times. Having a password such like maybe uppercase K, lowercase X, figure 7, exclamation mark, and lowercase q. It looks complex, but it's a bad password. But when you have something like purple _ tractor _ Ibadan _ rain, it's an outstanding one. It is longer. It is easy for you to remember, but it's very dramatically harder for someone to crack. And again, never ever reuse password across platform, because if one site is breached, every account sharing that password falls with it. And then restrict sharing. Share only with named individual, not anyone with a link. That is very important. Hold that thought, please. Don't do the anyone with this link. Be specific on the individual you want to share it with. And then lastly, review access. Twice a year, open your share folders and look at who is still there. I mean, you will be surprised that you will find out maybe a consultant from 2023 or 2022. You will find someone who has left the institution a long time ago. So it is always good to do these audits twice in a year and then revoke all those access that are no longer required. Now to our next quiz or scenario based. Busayo, you can also help me again put up the scoreboard full live again. Let's see if you're paying attention. I want to see if we're all paying attention. So a researcher needs to send a folder to 3 collaborators. It contains student data and unpublished research finding. Setting individual performance, permission is always something difficult to do. It's fiddly. So she picks the quick option. Anyone with a link can view. Send the link, job done. One collaborator forward it to a colleague to be helpful. The colleague drops it into a WhatsApp group, also to be helpful. Someone in that group forward it to another person again, with the mind of being helpful. Everyone in this chain was being helpful. Nobody was being malicious. Nobody had any wrong intention. And that is exactly what it takes. That is why it makes it very terrifying, because we are doing something honestly, genuinely, trying to be helpful and not knowing the implication. So what is the main risk here? I see a lot of people going for unauthorized access. You have unauthorized access, slow internet speed, file corruption, or none of the above. Just a few seconds more. And if anybody picks option 2, I'm going to need to have a separate conversation with that person. If anybody picks option 2. Okay. All right. Keep it coming. More comments. More response, and then we can just close this. More response. Okay, so 15 seconds for the person who was trying to share with anyone with the link. And notice she never made a second mistake. It was just that single one. She made one, and the internet did the rest for her. She only did share with everyone, and the internet helped her for the rest. For free. In about 4 hours, for example, the file has gone viral from one honest person to another person trying to share it in a WhatsApp, forwarding to another. That's what it takes. All right. So let me just reveal the answer. So the answer is unauthorized access, number 1. Anyone who received that link inside the institution, outside it, in another country, can open it. There is no gate. The link is the key. And the link travels further and faster than any one of us can imagine. All right. Now, 2, showing slow internet. Sharing permission have nothing to do with bandwidth. 3, file corruption. Open links don't damage files. So obviously that's not correct. And none of the above. For 4, the risk is severe, is immediate, and the devastating part is it's actually permanent. Thank you, Busayo. You can stop that now. And here's the part nobody thinks about. Once someone has a downloadable copy, forget it. Like the Yoruba will say, that dear, you can never take it back. You can revoke the link, you can even delete that shared folder. It changed nothing, because as soon as one person downloads it, the copy exists forever on a device that you've never seen and is belonging to a person that you don't even have a clue about. And that is when they say that, Oya Sopoti law, it is gone. And now, moving to day 6, the story that I'm trying to build, Dr. Tunde shares this data set folder with 2 collaborators. Named permission for him kept failing because one of them used a personal address. So at a point, he just felt, let me pick anyone with the link. And then by day 7, that link was in 3 WhatsApp groups. Door number 3 opened. All right? I want you to keep that story in mind and follow me as we progress. Okay, so to the next slide, secure file sharing. The 3 ways sensitive data walk out of an institution. Basic 3 ways. Email attachments, unencrypted, uncontrolled, and if you have continuous emails that can be forwardable. The moment you attach it and it's sent, you have permanently lost control of that file. There is nothing you can do about it again. The second one is USB drive. Be honest. Let's be honest. Every one of us on this call, we have a USB drive. Some of us call it Tom's drive, pen drive. Now we even call it a lot of fancy names. Okay. And I believe that every one of us have it. We have content that we could not even, if you ask us, what do you have in your flash drive, on your Tom drive, on your pen drive? You can't even fully recover the things that you kept there. So imagine if it is lost, whoever finds it gets everything on it instantly with no password. And the reverse danger, a found USB plugged into a work machine is one of the oldest attack methods that still works. All right. And lastly, on secure cloud links, we just spent 4 minutes on this one, on controlled copies spreading quietly like a virus. I wanted to notice the pattern. Every one of these is a convenience. It's not a coincidence. The risk and the convenience are the same future. It always the one that is very convenient. I want us to have that at the back of our mind. Now, moving on, file sharing best practices. Why this matters? In one sentence, institutional data bridges usually begin with a single careless shared file. It's not a hack. It's not a genius cyber attack. One file shared silently, too widely on an ordinary afternoon. It could even be a morning. So use the approved platform and understand why that instruction exists. Because IT said so. I mean, that shouldn't be what is convincing you that, oh, okay, because IT said so. No. It is because it should be the proper thing to be done. Approved platform gives you 3 things. All right? A personal, when you have approved platform, it helps you to solve that part of you thinking about you using your personal Gmail or using some random file transfer or using all those other convenient other ways. Because when you use a proof platform, you're able to have audit logs. You can see who opened it and when. You're even able to access your control. You can revoke the access anytime you want. And then it also comes with encryption. It's built in on it. It's always on. It's nothing for you to configure. Just make sure that you put the specific name of only the person or the set of people that needs to access that file. And then that's it. It's just about the discipline. It costs nothing. All right. Always confirm the recipient before you share every time. That is very key. Look at the actual email address, not the display name. Don't look at maybe the name is showing Dr. A. Ibrahim, for example, in bold. It might sit on top of an address. Man, that is nothing compared with you typing in the exact email. Because autocomplete has done a lot of damage. Autocomplete has sent more confidential documents to the wrong people than any hacker in history. Student record, financial data, research finding, 2 seconds to check the address, 2 years to recover from if you didn't check it. So pick the right 2, just 2 seconds or 2, 4, max 5, 10 seconds to pay attention and do the proper thing than being an hasty and spend the next 2 years trying to recover. Now, moving on. Virtual meeting security. This is fantastic. I want you to look around your own screen for a second because we are in one of those right now, those kind of virtual meetings. It has its own risk. Unauthorized access. A meeting link posted publicly in an open door with a sign on it. Uninvited people will join. They will sit quietly there. They will listen to everything and leave. And here's the thing. Most people who a lot of times who do this, they will never say a word. You will even never know that they are there. I've had similar experiences of those kind of meetings in the past, where you have meetings that are created and there is no access control to the meeting. Again, accidental exposure. You share your screen to show a document like I'm currently doing. Behind it, your inbox, a WhatsApp desktop notification with a private message, a spreadsheet of exam results, maybe a file name, disciplinary case, something, something, something. Everyone sees it within that 4 seconds. And trust me, in 2026, 4 seconds, it is a screenshot, and the screenshot is forever. If you mistakenly show something, max 4 seconds, the screenshot is captured already. And that little screenshot can be forever. So another one is unauthorized recording. Someone records the Senate meeting, the appraisal discussion, those sensitive student cases without no consent. And it exists in the world permanently. Okay? Now let me drag you back to the story I started from. It is now day 8. There is a departmental webinar. The admin officer wants a good turnout. So she posts the meeting link on the faculty Facebook page. Very sensible, because from our point of view, she wants more visibility, more attendance. 42 people joined, but 31 were invited. But you have 42 people that joined. Door 4 opened. Keep that in the back of your mind. All right. So what are the meeting security best practices? 4 settings, all free, all take under a minute. Meeting password. Every meeting should have that, especially if it is a sensitive meeting like Senate meeting, faculty, appraiser, research meeting, and anything that involves named individuals. A link alone should never be enough to get in. All right? And that takes me to the next one, waiting room. This is my favorite because it turns the technical control into an human one. You see who you want in, and you decide. If a name appears that you don't recognize, you simply don't admit them. That is it. That is the whole defense. Especially today, now that everyone uses AI for joining meeting automatically. I mean, to take minutes and details of the meeting. So it is very, very key to use this feature. The third one is control screen sharing, host only by default. And that's a personal rule, all right, that I want every one of us to adopt today. Never share your whole desktop. Share the single window, never the desktop. Those are best practices because the desktop shares your notification, your open tabs, your file names, your wallpaper, your everything. The window shares the document alone. Now, there is no situation in professional life that requires you sharing your entire screen. No. So make sure you cultivate that habit. And then lastly, share links through official channels only. Institutional email, the LMS, the internal calendar, not Facebook, not LinkedIn. That is why you will never see us post meetings on LinkedIn because it's a public spot and not on an open WhatsApp community. It must be a closed WhatsApp community that you can control the members that are there. All right. Now, before you forget, I want us to quickly do something. Open your video conferencing settings. Currently, we are using Zoom. If you're using Zoom, open your video conferencing setting. Maybe in another video tab or wherever, if you're using the app or if you're joining from the web, and set screen share to host only as the default. Do the same thing also on your Microsoft team. All right. I want every one of us to do it so that we don't forget. For those of us that manages meetings from time to time, that is very important. Don't make that mistake. All right. If you're able to do that, you can just put done on the chat. Okay. So let's move on. Now, to another scenario-based question. The Facebook link. This is the quiz number 3 now. 2 more to go. We are halfway point now. And the scenario is an administrator posts a Zoom link publicly on the university's Facebook page. Unknown participants join. They begin recording. One of them takes control of screen sharing and displays something that ends the meeting entirely. What scenario controls were missing? Thank you, Busayo. I see you've put the poll up already. What security controls were missing? What was missing? 1, meeting password. 2, restricted link sharing. 3, waiting room. 4, all of the above. 30 seconds. And I'll be honest, that's a gift. But I want us to think about why before you answer. This is a very cheap question. What was missing? Okay, so because of time, I'm just going to go straight to reveal the answer. All of the above. And here's the important part. Any single one of these three would have stopped it on its own. A password. The stranger never gets in with just a link. Restricted sharing. The links never reaches them in the first place. Okay? A waiting room. The host will see unfamiliar names and simply will not admit them in. 3 independent lock, each one sufficient. All 3 switched off. And that is the shape of nearly every incident that you will read about. It is not that the defense failed. The defense were never turned on. They were sitting right there in the setting menu, one click away the entire time, but nobody did it. Now, it's important for me to say at this point, let's build an habit. 3 words that I want you to type in the chat for me. Pause, verify, proceed. Pause, verify, proceed. I wanted you to do that for me in the chat room. Those 3 words. It is very important. Pause, verify, proceed. Beautiful. Beautiful. I can see that coming. Beautiful. Remember it because I'm coming back to it. Okay. Now, access, remote system access. This is the section that decide whether everything else you've done today actually holds. 3 rules for reaching institutional systems from outside the campus or from outside wherever you have. Use a VPN. We covered the why already. We talked about the why already. The encrypted channels. It's not optional on any network that you do not own. On any network that you do not own, use a VPN. Avoid public devices. Never, never, never log into institutional systems from a shared computer, maybe in a public or in a cyber cafe or in a public lab. And I need you to understand the mechanism, not just the rule. Those machines can have key loggers. Those are software that quietly records every key that you press and send it elsewhere. You will not notice anything. The machine behaves perfectly while you're working on it. But your password is simply gone. Every details of you is simply gone. And then avoid public Wi-Fi. And here's the practical Nigerian answer. Because avoid public Wi-Fi is easy to say. Your phone's mobile hotspot is almost always safer than any free Wi-Fi. Please. It will cost your data, no doubt, but it will save you from an incident. That is a trade worth making every single time. It is better to cost your data. Your data in terms of your mobile data than for it to cost you an incident. All right, moving on now. Your digital identity. And I want to reframe how you think about your login. All right. Your university username or your institutional username and password are not just login. It is a master key to student record, to research data, financial system, and institutional email carried around in your head and typed into whatever screen that appears in front of you. So when that key is copied, the attacker doesn't break anything. He just walks in through the front door, and every system he touches records the visit under your name. Every file he opens, every record he changes, every email that he sends, your name is on it. Which brings us to phishing. Phishing emails impersonate IT department, university portal, because those are the messages we are conditioned to obey. Your mailbox is full. Your password expires in 24 hours. Action required. Verify your account, all those kind of things. So here's the rule with no exception. Never log in through a link in an email. Not once. Never. All right? If you get a message saying your account needs attention, close it. Open a fresh tab and type your institutional address yourself. the way you do every morning. It costs maybe 8-10 seconds max, and it makes you almost immune to the single most common attack on heart, which is being too much in a haste to click on a link, and report any suspicious login activity immediately. Not tomorrow, please, immediately. Identity security best practices. 4 best practices that I'm going to talk about. And the framing on this slide is the sharpest line in this whole presentation. Protecting your identity is not a technical task. It is a professional responsibility. Enable MFA. That's the second time I've said that today. And I will say it a third time before I finish. And I might even repeat it again because it is the highest value thing on this slide, MFA. It stops the attacker, even when he already has your password. Nothing else on this list does that. Nothing else. MFA helps you with that. Use the password manager. Remember, we talked about this in Module 1 extensively. And I know the objection. Putting all your password in one place. I know it sounds weird for a lot of us, but here is the honest comparison. You currently have one password, slightly modified, protecting 14 accounts. And you remember it because it is your child's name and a year. A password manager gives you 14 genuinely random passwords behind one strong master password and MFA. That is not more risk. That is dramatically less. That is reducing your risk to the minimum. Unique password everywhere. Because password reuse is how one small breach becomes a catastrophe. A shopping site that maybe you used to visit in 2019 that gets breached. Attacker can take that email and password, pair it and try it on Gmail, on your institutional portal, on everything automatically. Thousands of attempts a second. So if you reuse that same password in all the other ones, then they are in. That is called credential stuffing. And it's most of what actually happens out there. Now, the third one is report suspicious activity. Let me speak to the real barrier here because it is not technical. A lot of times it's here. People don't report because they are embarrassed. I mean, things like you start hearing people saying, oh, I should have known better. So they just stay quiet and hope. But in that silence, an incident that IT could have contained in 20 minutes can turn into a tax in 6 weeks. Nobody in your IT department has ever been angry at any person who reports quickly. I don't think so. Not once. Even if it's the false alarm. They will only become angry or mad about the silence if it now turns into an incident. Okay? So please let us always, early report is key. Now to the fourth scenario-based question. The staff member logs into the institutional portal from a cyber cafe. It finishes, closes the browser windows, pays and leaves. It does not log out. 90 seconds later, someone else sits down at that terminal machine. What is the primary risk? Messiah, can you help me with this? Can you put up the scoreboard? Yeah, thank you. What is the primary risk in this? Is this session hijacking, slow performance, data duplication, or is it none of the above? Let's keep the conversation coming. Let's keep them coming. Let's keep them coming. Let's keep them coming. Okay. Yeah, we have quite a number of responses already. I see a lot of people are picking session hijacking. All right, so let me reveal the answer. Yes, session hijacking. A is the answer. The next person opens the browser and your session is simply there. Still login, no password requested because the system has no way to know the human in the chair has changed. As far as it's concerned, you are still sitting there. And now they are you. They can read what you can read, send what you can send, change what you can change. And even possibly every log entry in that system will say it was you. B was never the answer. Slow performance. That's an inconvenience, not a threat. C, data duplication. It's unrelated. D, no risk is real. And D is saying that none of the above. The risk is obviously real, and it's even immediate. So the habit is log out, then close in that order always. It is very, very important. Closing a window is not logging out. Control Shift and then the Q key or the actual logout button is the better option. And on any machine you don't own, assume everything that you type in is being recorded. Because of the truth, it might actually be. Now back to my story, referring back to my story, this is now day 9. Dr. Tunde's laptop batteries dies at a conference venue. He needs to send one document quickly. He uses the business center PC at the hotel, at the conference. He sends it, close the browser, and rushes back to the conference to catch with his session without logging out. Door 5 opens. And this is the one that gave them everything. Okay? Now, building a security culture. This is the part that actually determines whether anything I have said today survives contact with Monday morning, for example, say another 1 week. Cybersecurity is not an IT issue, and I'll be blunt here. If security in your institution lives entirely in the IT department, your institution is not secure. It cannot be. Because IT does not sit in your kitchen at 9 p.m. when you are trying to cook and then you are maybe in a meeting with your laptop, or when an email arrives, when you're on the bed at around 10 p.m., your IT is not there. So it's never about IT. Shared responsibility. Every person, the admin officer, the researcher, the lecturer, the bosser, the driver with a work phone is in a line of defense. An attacker knows exactly who to target. They are always going for the busiest and the most helpful person in the building. So let's know that awareness is power, because every technique that we've discussed today ultimately depends on one thing, that you are moving too fast to think. Social engineering does not beat your intelligence. It beats your calendar. It makes you to be too much in a haste to quickly decide. Our institution supports a secure culture. And now let me take some weight off your shoulder, because individual effort alone is not enough. And it's not fair to pretend it's all about the individual. Institutions also have to build structure that makes security behavior the default and not the heroic exception, as the case may be. So, number one is every institution should have clear policy, written remote work and data handling policies, not to punish people, but so that everyone knows what correct looks like, what the proper way looks like, and so that a person acting properly is protected when something goes wrong. Secondly is awareness campaign, regular training, newsletters, and I strongly recommend this, simulated phishing exercise. Send your own staff safe fake phishing emails and let them practice on something harmless. The people who click get a short lesson instead of a real disaster. It works and it's very cheap. You can do all these simulation scenarios. And the third one is the IT support system, an accessible help desk, a simple, blame-free way to report, a published list of approved software, because if you don't tell people which tools that are safe for them to use, that is when you find them using all those funny PDF converters. They will find their own ways. And that is exactly how Shadow IT starts. That's how Shadow IT builds up. All right. One quick thing that I want you to quickly do for me in the chat. Which of these three is the weakest in your institution right now? Remember, we're in a safe room. We're being honest. Is it policy? Is there awareness? Or is it support? Just one word, be honest. Nobody institution is named in the recording. Just one word. Which of these three do you think is the weakest in your institution? In your institution now? Policy? Is it policy? Is there awareness? Or is it the support system? Just let me see them in the chat. Awareness, support, clear policy. Beautiful. I see all those. Thank you. That's genuinely useful. And it goes back into how this program develops. And I want to say a big thank you for that. Now, three behaviors. If you forget all the 31 slides that we've gone through today, I wanted to keep this. Think before you click. And I want you to give something I want to give you something concrete, because think before you click is advice nobody has ever actually followed. Let's be honest. And here it is, the 10-second rule. When a message asks you to do something, maybe click, download, log in, transfer, send a message, you ask yourself 3 questions. Was I expecting this? Does he want me to be in a hurry? Can I verify it in another way? Maybe a phone call or a walk down the corridor or something. It will just take only 10 seconds. And that is the whole difference, because urgency is the attacker's only real weapon. Every phishing email in history says some version of do this now. Real institution never does that. Okay? Second, report incident promptly. Never assume something suspicious is harmless. You are not wasting IT's time. A false alarm costs them 4 minutes max, but your silence can mean 4 months, if not even 4 years. And lastly, follow institutional guidelines consistently, all right? Including on the day that you are the most busiest, that you are tired, and maybe it's probably even in the nights, especially that time. Make sure you follow institutional guidelines. That is precisely the moment the policy exists for. That is why policies are made. Okay? Please, let us have that at the back of our mind. And for the last scenario question today, there's the last one. You receive an email. It appears to be from IT support. It says your account requires verification, and there is a link. It says failure to act within 24 hours will suspend your account. What do you do? Busayo, help me put up the scoreboard. Yeah, thank you. What do you do? You receive this email. What do? You click the link immediately. You ignore the email. You report to IT or security team. You forward to a colleague to warn them, genuinely, to warn them. 20 seconds. And I'm watching for someone who is his brother's keeper that will pick D, because it's kind. Well, it's you want to warn your, for example, now I received such an email. Maybe I want to forward it to Tolu, to warn Tolu that look, this is a suspicious email. I just forwarded it to Tolu. Okay. So let me reveal the answer. The answer is C. Report to IT. A says clicking. Clicking is the classic outcome the whole email was engineered for. So never do that. B, ignore the email. Ignore is better and it protects you, but it's incomplete. And why is that? That email didn't come to you alone. It went to 40 something of your other colleagues. Your silence protects one person, but your reports protect all the people that also received the email. And that is why C is the right answer. And D, this is one I really need to hear because it comes from a good place. Forwarding a phishing email to warn people, spread the link further. Even though you are doing it genuinely. You're forwarding into their inbox where somebody will probably eventually, is Oga that is forwarding this thing to me. You didn't even read that our guy is saying, is warning you about it. You just click on it straight away. So warning people by talking to them is more better. And send the email itself to IT, not to people. So C is the right answer. All right. And then back to my scenario. We're eventually on day 11. Dr. Tunde receives an email, IT notice, mailbox quota exceeded, verify to say avoid suspension. And he is in between meetings. He just quickly click it because he doesn't want to get disconnected from the meeting. He types his username and password into a page and looks exactly like their institutional. Click submit. Then that is the part that breaks my heart because he forwards it again to 7 colleagues with the same note. Please action this before it affects you. And that is the final door. Door 6 finally open. And it was the last one that they needed because they are now you finally. Okay. So for practical exercise, because security you've only heard about is security you will forget in the next couple of days. Home risk assessment. Walk your own setup, your router, your devices. Who else have access? And where the laptop sleeps at night. Most people find 3 problems in 15 minutes. Walk through all of this. And from everything that we've talked about today, see the security lapses. What are the things that are missing? Secondly, secure file sharing. Practice sharing a document properly on your approved platform. Named permissions, put expiry dates, and make sure download is disabled. Do it once in a safe setting, and you will never fumble with it, even when you're under pressure. Virtual meeting setup. Build a meeting with a password and a waiting room, and make sure that host-only screen sharing is what is by default. 2-minute settings, that is all it takes. Then phishing detection. Sample emails, red flag in a safe environment. Those simulation phishing emails that I talked about that IT and institutions can do for their users. The sender address, the urgency, the mismatch link, the almost right logos, all those things. Do a simulation of it so that people get to know more on how to avoid some of these things. These are the reps, all right? Nobody gets fit by watching somebody else becoming a victim. I want us to have that at the back of our mind. And I mean, I'm sure you're still trying to figure out these ones because so what are the right remote security toolkits? Checklist and templates, okay? Daily routines and incident response, ready to use. Print the incident one and stick it where you will see it at 9 p.m. or on a bad night, because that is exactly when nobody remembers what to do. Those checklists, they are very, very key. The VPN setup guidelines, step by step for connecting securely from anywhere. All those things are things that are required to have a remote security toolkit. And of course, the security policies. Your institution's official guidance on acceptable use, data handling and reporting. And genuinely make sure you read them. 20 minutes or 30-minute max. Most people have never opened them. And then, how can they even quote them when in terms of incidents or crisis? So it's important that we have some of these things as things that we'll do properly as best practices. Now, let me also talk about how our learning has been measured in terms of assessment, because this is deliberately not an exam. I mean, all those scenario questions, quizzes that I've been doing, like the 5 we just did now, they are realistic situations, but not definitions, all right? They are practical exercises. the hands-on work that I want you to do when you leave these meetings or at home later in the night, feedback surveys. And I mean this, your feedback shapes the next cohort. I mean, if something today didn't land well, tell us. If something changed how you would work tomorrow, tell us that too. Tells us what to double down to. So the point of this assessment isn't to test you. It is to make the learning stick and to reflect the real situation you will meet as a reward. I mean, as a remote worker in a Nigerian institution. So that's basically what's all about. So let me finish my Dr. Tunde's story as a wrap-up. 6 doors open. Day 1, the family laptop. Day 4, the hotel Wi-Fi. Day 6, anyone with a link. Day 8, the meeting link on Facebook. Day 9, the one on the cyber cafe. And finally, day 11, the phishing email they forwarded just because it was trying to be helpful. None of those was stupid. Not one was careless in the way we usually mean that word. Every single one was a busy, competent, generous professional trying to get work done with a tool in front of him. Now, let me tell you the other version. In the other version, on day 6, a junior colleague looks at the sharing link and says, "Sir, should this be restricted? Should this not be restricted?" 4 seconds. One slightly awkward sentence from the most junior person in the room, and the story ends there. No ransomware, no 11 years, no 3 PhD students starting all over again. That is what today, that is what it takes. And that is what today was actually all about. It's not the firewall. It's not the VPN. It is the willingness to be the person who says the slightly awkward thing. Stay vigilant, all right? Every click, every login, every share file is a choice. Small, boring, repeated choices you can say, that is what security is. There is no dramatic moment where you save the day. There is only Tuesday. And if you do the right thing, you don't have to spend the next days scratching your head or trying to look for lost data. Okay? So I want us all to stay connected, lean on your IT team, lean on each other. You're not expected to be a security expert. You are expected to ask. And let me say for the last time, if you can do this also for me in the chat, 3 words that I want you to put there: pause, verify, and proceed. All right? Pause, verify, and proceed. One last thing, and that is the one that matters most in the chat. One thing you're going to change before Friday, not a list, just one thing. Maybe MFA on my email, change my router password at home, separate my browser profile, you remember, create different user accounts on my home laptop, stop emailing files to my Gmail so that I can continue work at home. Just one thing like that. Type it. Put it in the chat room. All right? Can just put that in the chat room. Just one thing that you do different. Okay? Just one thing that you do different. So, I think at this point now, the floor is all yours. Questions, challenges, disagreement, and especially the ones that start with, "This might be a silly question." Those are always the best ones. And I promise you, 40 other people are wondering the same thing you are wondering. So if you have any questions, you can drop in the chat, you can unmute yourself. Yeah, you can bring the question coming in. Let's hear your thoughts. Tolu, I can pass the microphone now to you. Let's start getting questions, people's thoughts, and stuff like that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Inka Fakule, for the very engaging session. And thank you, everyone, for participating actively. Please, can we get reactions? Can we see some claps, some balloons? Thank you very much, sir. I would like to have one specific thing you learned from this session in the chat. Please drop that in the chat. What's your take home today? I'll start. My own take home, or what I realized from this session, is that it's really not so expensive. It's really not expensive to be cyber secure. You can imagine the things that Dr. Inka Fakule has stated in this session today. Something as simple as pause, verify, proceed. It literally takes nothing from you, right? Something as simple as you creating a browser profile. By the way, who has done that? Because he said that during the sessions. So were you able to do that? This is how we make changes, by making intentional, efforts to make these changes, right? So I would like to also, before we take questions, now the Q&A session is open. You can put in the chat, you can raise up your hands. But before we go to that, I would also like to hear from Mr. Tolu Bolaji.
Yes, thank you so much, Ire. Yeah, it was quite an engaging, very engaging session, very interesting too. A lot of things to learn from it. But like you said, pause, verify, and proceed. PVP, I mean, that acronym makes it easier to remember. So anytime you're about to click any link or respond to any request online or any prompt, remember PVP, pause, verify before you proceed. Okay. One other thing that jumped at me in that session is that, he made a very short statement in passing that you're a data custodian, either you sign up for it or not. Really, we didn't know that when we probably took up the job. It wasn't written, oh, you're a data custodian. But the fact that you have one data or the other from your institution makes you a custodian of data. All right, so you're a data custodian. Let's please send in the questions if we have questions. I know we are out of schedule already, so let's make this as quick and fast as possible. Everyone, are there questions? Are there clarifications you want a facilitator to make? Do you have anything in the chat room?
We have their take homes in the chat room.
Yeah, take homes. Yeah. I think before you click.
I think I see Mr. Olumide Olatuji says, think before you click, report the incident promptly, and follow institutional guidelines.
Yeah, out.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Dr. Fakule did mention that no ICT team would blame you or be angry with you that you're reporting promptly, right? So I think that's all. Questions, please.
Yeah. If you have questions, let's take one or two. You can raise up your hand to ask. And if there are none, what it implies is that we all understand absolutely the content of this module. And then that the webinar of today has been very enlightening to the extent that, there are no questions. And that would be a good thing. It's a good development. Okay, so if there are no questions, I think we can then move on to what next we have on our agenda, which is the next steps. I'll call on, I hope I have Mr. Marco. Okay, call on Mr. Marco for the next steps. So, Mr. John, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bolaji. Okay, so on the next step, so far so good, we've concluded module 1 to 5, and so probably within the next few hours, we're going to see that module 6 is going to be open, which is quite interesting because module 6 also contains quite a lot of things that we should look at. And so module 6 also is more about the institution. Just a minute. Okay, so yes, as I was talking about module 6, for module 5, we are done with secure remote work. And so hopefully that all of us will have clear understanding on how to manage remote work. I'm trying to open my system. So we're now looking at building a proper security culture, which is about bringing all that we've covered so far into perspective. How will this be able to operate for us in the institution? All the various components from module 1 to module 5. And so we're going to understand what a security culture means, clear understanding of how our own individual behaviors impact the overall security of the organization. Because those little things that Dr. Fakunle talked about, most of us will not understand how not doing one thing can be the gateway for a major attack across the entire institution. And so that's what Module 6 is about, understanding how we create and operate with a clear and concise security culture for everybody that is a participant in this particular program. We're also looking at leadership and governance around security. Most of us are administrators. Most of us are in one position of leadership or the other. How does that leadership drive culture? How does that leadership reinforce most of everything that has been taught in this particular program? And that's something that we are going to be looking at as we progress. We're also going to talk about some aspects of awareness and training. This is an example of some of such awareness and such trainings. But the hope of this program is that this will just be the beginning. That in our own institutions, we're going to have programs like this, awareness on cybersecurity. As individuals, we're also going to try to develop ourselves and also try to build ourselves to ensure that this learning continues. Cybersecurity keeps evolving. The technology landscape keeps changing. And so what used to be a secure environment yesterday will not necessarily be a secure environment today. So as the technology landscape changes, evolves, so also is cybersecurity evolving, and we must all keep ourselves abreast with recent knowledge. Also, we are going to look at the Cybersecurity Champions Network as coined by my colleague, Mr. Bolaji, the Cyber Champs. And so that's something that the next module is also going to cover. And another aspect is around accountability, knowing that every one of us has one role or the other to play around cyber security. And also, we are going to look at integrating cybersecurity to our daily operations. As we engage in our day-to-day activities, there is always one aspect or the other that has to do with cybersecurity. And the moment we have that clear understanding, then we can effectively become cautious. Cybersecurity will no longer be an add-on or a bolt-on. It's going to be part of our operations. And we will have clear understanding that whatever we're doing, security must come into it by design. So that's some of all what Module 6 is going to be covering. And I want to encourage each and every one of us to go through the LMS platform and ensure that we engage with the platform effectively, and also encourage others that have not yet started on the platform. Module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, nothing is missed. Every content will be made available on the platform. So at any point in time, you can always start. There is no nothing left behind. There's nothing that has been missed. And I also saw a question on the chat that is requesting for downloadable materials. We've had that question severally. everybody wants to have a content that they're going to take back. Yes, we are working on it. We want to ensure that when whatever document we make available, because this document is no longer going to be on our platform, is going to go around, and we might not be able to say the limit to which where those documents will get to. So we want to ensure that, yes, that those documents meet a particular level of standard before we get to release those documents. We don't take this program lightly, and so we want to ensure that everything that we deliver on this program meets international standards and best practice. So I would plead with everyone that the documents, the materials, especially those ones that we want to download and keep and use after this program, will always be made available. And we're going to send notifications via email, the WhatsApp, to ensure that everybody is aware that, yes, the downloadable material has been prepared and made available. So I want to plead with everyone that they should be patient with us as regards that aspect of the downloadable material. Thank you very much. I think I yield back to Dr. Yinka Fakunle.
All right, thank you very much, John. I hope one of these days people won't be mistaking you for me. I've had a lot of people saying that. Thank you for ushering us into Model 6, and thank you for everything that you mentioned. I mean, we've spent like 60 minutes out of our scheduled time. I want to thank everyone. This has been not just engaging for you, it has also been engaging for us. We are learning as you are also learning, okay? Like I mentioned the other time, your feedbacks, your response, they would help us to better shape this more for the next cohort, like I did mention. I want to thank every one of you for joining this session, and please put into practice everything you've learned today. And see you guys soon in the next 2 hours. So enjoy the rest of your day. Have a wonderful afternoon, and stay safe. Thank you, everyone.